messages that apparently my last video inside did not have good reception. I even tried uh, hooking into the Wi-Fi there, and that was no better. So I kind of want to, if I haven't listened to my videos, so I don't know whether or not it got through or whatever. But especially if you're in the city of Temple, I've been coming to city council meetings off and on. Obviously, not as much recently, just because I'm always gone usually, and not able to make meetings because I'm out of the city. But I've come to these for years. Years I've come to city council meetings, and I've never seen this. This is the first page of the agenda. And do you know what this is? This is all about the kind of speech you cannot engage in. That's what this is. That's all this is. That's all this entire thing is the kind of speech you can't engage in. Now, there's some very pointed reasons why. And this is what really kind of drives me nuts. And I hope someone shares this with our City of Temple leaders, because we're starting already to go down this road that leads to very expensive lawsuits. And I have made it a policy of mine to try and prevent lawsuits. I don't go chasing down lawsuits. I really don't. I really would prefer that. And if you're a client of mine, you know I do it this way. People want to hire me for I want to sue. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Let's just do a demand letter. Let's just see if they'll do the right thing, right? Just pay me to write a letter. It's inexpensive, and I don't need to take your money, and we can probably just get them to do the right thing. And in some cases, yes, we do. In some cases, unfortunately, no, we don't. But what I'm seeing as a problem is government officials do something wrong, bad, make a mistake, whatever. Citizen complains, government doubles down, citizen gets more pissed off because now they're being retaliated against. So, they go to city council. So city council cracks down even more. And the next thing you know, there's this escalation in hate of government. And the city councils wonder all over the state, they wonder, like, why are these people just so uncivil? Well, it's because you're violating our rights. And then when we try to bring it up to you, you use the power of the police to go after our businesses, to go after our homes, to go after our wallets for nothing more than a bruised ego. And so that's the problem here, is that there's a guy that, just like down in Aransas Pass with Jason Followell, which we just filed his lawsuit last week, or was it this week? Either way, I don't know. I filed so many lawsuits in the last few days, I don't know. I think it was Monday, but they used code enforcement against him. We won. He won on all of those things. And I'm seeing the exact same thing up here in Temple now. And he's been going, the individual has been, and here's the funny thing though, this is a little bit different. The individual they're targeting is an attorney himself. So we talk a lot and think alike on many things. But, if you're going to violate someone's rights and you're going to go after someone and you're going to charge them with bogus code violations or bogus laws or ordinances or whatever, you might want to look at what you're doing first, because you're going after an attorney and a citizen. But they're doing it anyway. And so the citizen gets upset and starts coming to city council to talk about the fact that he's being targeted and retaliated against. And instead of just doing the right thing or doing nothing, letting things work out, let the citizen complain, they publish this. Now I'm going to read this to you. Public comments. And I'm going to read several issues with this. This section allows comments from residents of Temple or business or property owners in Temple. There's your first problem. If you have a public comments period or section, it's for members of the public. The public is anybody, everybody. You cannot say that, oh, you're not a resident of Temple, you can't speak. You just can't do that. And I've already informed them of this. The second thing is, who have signed up to speak prior to the meeting and are not currently in civil or criminal litigation with the City of Temple or any of its officers or officials. So if you are in a civil litigation, you're suing your neighbor who happens to be the city secretary or whatever. You have no right to free speech. You have no right to come to a city council meeting and seek redress. And what if the litigation is a speeding ticket? That's litigation against the city. Am I not allowed to come and talk to the city council? Because this doesn't say, even though that would be wrong as well, it says here, residents who are currently involved in litigation against the city may still address the council on issues wholly unrelated to the subject matter of litigation. That's unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional. If the city is charging me with a bogus offense and I want to warn my fellow citizens, hey, and I want to go to a city council meeting because I don't get to just go to the paper and have a bully pulpit. The only place I'm really going to have my voice is at city council. And I want to go to city council and say, hey, they're setting up speed traps over here. I got tagged on one. What, I'm not allowed to say that? Oh, hey, they're using code enforcement because they don't understand what the definition of a manufactured building is. So if you've got a building that looks like this, it's not a manufactured building, but just know they're probably going to come after you, when in reality, they're really not going to come after anyone else. They're only coming after their political adversaries, the people that hold them accountable, that complain, that they don't like. So this idea of you can't speak on issues wholly unrelated, or you can only speak on issues wholly unrelated to subject matter litigation, not only does it violate the Constitution, because a city council meeting is a traditional public forum. Therefore, any of these rules on here fall under strict scrutiny. They have to have a compelling reason that they are going to refuse to let you speak on some matter just because you're involved in litigation. And it just says any civil or criminal litigation with the city or any of its officers or officials. So then it says, so that's that, and let me go down here, section 551.007 of the Texas Government Code is very clear that this is unconstitutional. So, well, at least it's unlawful. It's already unconstitutional under the First Amendment right to seek redress and free speech. But Government Code 551.007 of the Open Meetings Act, and I quote, this is section E, a government body may not prohibit public criticism of the government body, including criticism of any act. Guess what that means? If you cite me for something under the Code of Ordinances, that's an act. An omission, a policy, a procedure, a program, or a service. Let me read that one more time without any interruption. A government body may not prohibit public criticism of the government body, including criticism of any act, omission, policy, procedure, program, or service. So, I just read the law to you. This says you may not speak if you are currently in civil or criminal litigation with the City of Temple or any of its officials or officers. But you may speak on issues wholly unrelated to the subject matter of the litigation. But yet 551007 says you can't prohibit me from speaking about an act of the government. So not only is it unconstitutional, it's unlawful. And I asked a very simple question because under the Open Meetings Act 551.042, they can't discuss things with you. They can't debate things. They can't make decisions if it's not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, they can engage. But if it's not on the agenda, there are several things that they can do. One of which is make a statement of factual information. For example, if I go up there and I'm looking at the bus stop right now, and I say I use the bus, and every time I show up there, I'm there at 6:30, but the bus isn't there at 6:30. Does the bus run at 6:30 in the morning? That's a statement of factual information. And they're allowed to say, yes, sir, the bus runs at 6:30. Or they can say, well, actually, no, the bus doesn't get there until 7. That's the earliest the bus will get to that particular bus stop. It's a statement of factual information. They're allowed to do that. Do they have to? No. But they're allowed to. They're also allowed to recite, or the specific wording is a recitation of existing policy. So if the existing policy is to prevent people from speaking, or it says that the chair or the mayor or mayor pro tem, whoever's the chair of the city council meeting, may deny or shorten any comments if they are repetitive of comments previously made, disruptive or disrespectful. Now, the word disrespectful is a very broad term. What's disrespectful to you might not be disrespectful to me. There are some people that when I just say a profane word, they feel like they're being disrespected, whether it's directed towards them or not. Whereas if you say those exact same words and 10 times worse, I don't feel disrespected. I don't even care if you respect me or not, because I just live my life. That's your problem. So I just asked a very simple question. What does this mean? This word, disrespect. What does that mean? How do I know as a citizen? How am I put on notice that I can be shut up for a, quote, disrespectful comment? So I asked a very simple question. What is disrespectful? Is it me saying you should all be fired? Is it me calling you a piece of shit? Now, I will say when I said that, one of the city council members started shaking their head. So that person doesn't know what the Constitution is for sure. Although I guess he could say it's disrespectful. Maybe that. But, disrespectful speech is protected speech. There's no requirement, law, privilege, or anything that requires me to respect anybody, much less government. So I simply asked, what does this word disrespectful mean? Because it's a very broad term. And nobody said anything. I reiterated, you're allowed to make a statement of factual information. I'm just asking for a statement of factual information. What does this word mean? Disrespectful. How's it interpreted? There's no definition here. The city code doesn't have the definition of disrespectful. Nothing. Silence. Crickets. I used my last 13 seconds waiting for someone just to say, oh, CJ, it means this. Or, you know what, CJ, I'll send you an email. I'll define it for you. Or, you know what, CJ, we'll have the city attorney get a hold of you. And they can tell you. They could have given me a statement of factual information. They could have recited whatever the existing policy is on disrespect. But they didn't do that. So then you go to your second page, there's your agenda, right? This whole first page, let me summarize it. This is how we are going to infringe upon your speech. This is how we are going to violate your First Amendment rights. That's what all this says. You don't have to read the whole thing. What it means is this is how we're going to violate your rights. It's just frustrating how, and then I sit and I watch the budget discussion. Temple is about to hit 95,000 citizens. That's a 5% growth, but yet we've had an 11% revenue increase. Explain that. 5% growth, 11% revenue increase. Why? And our property taxes went up. Oh, that's on this phone. I took some pictures. If we've got this revenue increase, why are my property taxes going up? Maybe you're taking too much money because their income versus expenses. There's more income than there is expenses. You know what that means? That means they're stealing too much of our money. That's what that means. And then they're out there talking about, oh, how great it is that, we've kept our property tax rates down. If you've got a property that is appraised at $100,000 and you do a, what, 30 cent per 100,000 or whatever it is rate, but then the next year you increase the property value to 150,000, and then you think you're decreasing the rate. Oh, we're going to decrease the rate to 2.9 this year. I'm still paying more taxes. The rate is just a smokescreen for greedy government officials to steal your money when they say, oh, look, the rate went down, but yet you're seeing, wait, if the rate went down, why is property tax revenue going up? Well, because that's their smokescreen. Their smokescreen is, oh, look, we reduced the property tax rate, but we increased what your property's worth. You know, it's in other words, it's government inflation on your property. So anyway, wanted to talk about, that's what the meeting was about. That's what I was there for, because I saw this on the agenda. This entire page of how we're going to violate your First Amendment rights. And I had to come here and ask the question, because you know what this is? These are just copies of, I just grabbed 5 really quick of lawsuits I filed on First Amendment grounds. Some of them for this very same issue of quote unquote disrespect. Now, I will say they don't go as far as some of the others. You know, there are some that say you can't criticize us. You know, you go down to Aransas Pass, they try to say that you can't make disparaging remarks about members of the council. Well, that definitely violates 551.007. And so at least the only real problems I have with this are the word disrespectful. I'm not allowed to be disrespectful, whatever that means. And then this idea that you can't speak unless you're a citizen or a business owner in Temple, and you're not involved in criminal or civil litigation against the city or its people. Completely unconstitutional. Oh, you can speak as long as you don't talk about the subject matter of the litigation, but yet the government code says I'm allowed to do just that. So that's what that was about. If the video came out bad, I switched over to their Wi-Fi. Their Wi-Fi sucks, so I turned the Wi-Fi off. I thought, okay, surely I'll have a good 5G signal, but nope, I didn't. So I just want to come out and reiterate what I told them and let you know what that meeting was about. You guys take care. Be safe, be free. I am going to go home, and I've got another lawsuit to file tonight. I'll talk to you later.